Welcome back, once again. Thank you for joining me. Today we go into the Manachean Commonwealth, a system filled with planets once subjugated by a predatory, human-eating alien civilization. Their people, once enslaved, chose to follow the light of the Emperor and gave their lives in their fight for liberation. These systems, which contain extremely valuable strategic positions within the sector, would come to play a crucial role during the heresy. The Dark Age of technology, the first golden age of human conquest, led to the formation of the mighty Commonwealth. The Manachea System, which forms the Commonwealth's core, has named the surrounding subsector. With their technology still advanced and their disciplined populace counting in the hundreds of millions, the three worlds of Manachea escaped the horrors of Old Night, rather largely intact. But sometime during the Age of Strife, the system also succumbed to the Me Too conglomerate, a predatory, human-eating Xenos empire of immense power and alien technology covering most of the Coronid Deeps. The Age of Strife, also known as Old Night, based on the name for the Eon Terror, in older imperial histories, is the name for the apocalyptic and highly fragmented period of human history that began around the 25th millennium AD and ended in the 30th millennium with the establishment of the Imperium of Man. It was at this point that the vast human interplanetary civilization, built during the golden era of technology, crashed into isolation, incessant warfare, sickness, uncontrolled mutation, famine, and a slew of other awful catastrophes. These disasters killed tens of billions of people and brought humanity to the verge of annihilation. Technologically powerful and warp-capable, the Me Too rapidly expanded their kingdom to capture neighbouring worlds. They regularly requested a culling of the population and a tribute of flesh from these worlds, which they believed to be the fundamental components for building their technologies. Despite enjoying some autonomy and self-governance, which mitigated the harshness of their rule compared to Orcs or the Eldar, the Me Too completely dominated the Manachea system, hunting down and punishing young psychers and forbidding any space. The forces of the Great Crusade ended the overlordship of this terrible race of Xenos, but it remains uncertain how many normal decades or even centuries the worlds of the eventual Manachean Commonwealth endured under their rule. The Imperium's war to bring the Me Too conglomerate under control would be long and violent, basically fought as a sequence of vicious close-quarters boarding engagements in the void, interspersed with sudden and world-shattering planetary assaults on both sides. This campaign would mobilise no less than several expeditionary fleets and 3 legions of the Legiones Astartes, among them the Imperial Fists of the Primarch Rogel Dawn, and hundreds of cohorts of Solar Auxilia. Exterminatus would eventually wipe out most of the conglomerate worlds, but as a result, the Manachea System's human population would fight valiantly for the Imperium. After millennia of alien slavery, the people of the Manachea world welcomed imperial compliance with open arms. A single imperial commander established the 3 inhabited worlds of the Manachea system as a commonwealth based on long-standing links and shared histories. Manachea Visidae in High Ilium would serve as the seat of authority and government. The aristocratic patricians of House Beckett would act as the Lord Protectors of the Manachean Commonwealth. The Imperium would benefit from the Commonwealth's vast wealth and manpower, which originated from the Palace of Light. Manachea, fast rising to be a powerhouse of military and industrial activity, flourished and became the cornerstone of trade and business throughout the whole area. This importance made the Commonwealth the regional capital of the whole subsector, including choosing its name. Manachea was a brilliant beacon of imperial civilization in the northern stellar reaches of the Imperium. A strong, sovereign pocket empire that was totally loyal to its liberators from the Great Crusade and concentrated most of the military might of the Imperium in this region of space at the dawn of the 31st millennium. Given its size and technological development, the Manachean Commonwealth could potentially assemble a substantial military force for its own defense. This strength once again focused on the subsector's 2 main star systems, the Commonwealth itself and the naval station at Port Moore. Both were in their own rightful centres of military might, capable of thwarting significant Xenos assaults. If the opponent hadn't been an Astartes, the traitor frenzy at Manachea would have undoubtedly come to an end. Few areas outside of the Segmentum Solar could truly claim to be as well protected as the Manachean Commonwealth. Rising around the dawn of the 31st millennium, the Commonwealth was a bulwark of military force tasked with guarding most of the Segmenta around it, and surely the most potent faction inside the Coronid Deeps. Portmore and the Manachea System could field no less than 93 solar auxilia cohorts, which amount to a notional strength of some 4 million fully armed, equipped, disciplined fighters equipped to the highest standards of the Imperium's human soldiery. The troops created from the Manachea System typically wear the Commonwealth's uniform, which includes blue and yellow colours reminiscent of the Armada Imperialis. The solar auxilia cohorts and Armada detachments, drawn from the Commonwealth, bore the brazen bull of Manachea as their badge of origin, with the exception of those units that distinguished themselves enough to receive their own insignia. Every vehicle's flanks, for the several armoured cohorts and sub-cohorts the Commonwealth maintained, featured coloured stripes in Commonwealth colours, with the utilitarian grey-white drab often worn by vehicles affiliated with the solar auxilia. It was rather common to see units of the Portmore Exercitus or the Ultima Segmentum Armada, such as the elite 233rd Reconnaissance Wing, bear the blue and yellow stripes of the Manachean Commonwealth on the fuselage of their aircraft due to the significant interaction between the solar auxilia cohorts drawn from Manachea and those fleet elements stationed at Portmore. This is a standard peacekeeping and rapid response force. The solar auxilia, a significant military force that faced the fearsome legions Astartes, honed their skills in both void battles and planetary defence operations. These solar auxilia cohorts, recruited from the wild world of Lether, created several elite formations, including the Ash Scorpions. The Manachean Commonwealth's worlds aimed to establish their own planetary defence militia alongside this elite force. Indeed, the emergency defence plans of the Commonwealth specifically aimed to quickly mobilise, equip and assemble tens of millions of militiamen in extreme situations. The strength and accuracy of this planning ensured that even a complete mobilisation of the militia would not affect the subsector's mass industrial output. The Commonwealth's armies are among the very best equipped fighting forces in the whole realm, since the continuous production of its people enabled the Commonwealth to store a sizable amount of battle materiel. In terms of more serious threats, the Commonwealth could also rely on the small presence of some Legionese Astartes members and the Imperial Fists garrison at Bastion Quet on Manachea Lux. Although the Imperial Fists had clearly greatly strengthened Manachea's defences, sending several advisors to train regiments and providing their counter-siege warfare knowledge to the Commonwealth's authorities in order to improve existing fortifications, and tactical doctrines in case of attack, they refused to submit themselves to the authority of a mere human commander. The soldiers led by traitor Warmaster Horus would eventually attack the Manachean Commonwealth, a vital and highly industrialised star system. Still, the worlds of the Manachean Commonwealth were stronger and better guarded than the more erratic Cyclops cluster. On one hand, the proximity between the Manachea System and Portmore meant that the military and naval might possessed by these two worlds would easily be able to support each other, posing a threat the Warmaster could not ignore. On the other hand, the Portmore installations, manufacturing and repair facilities provided the perfect stepping stones for Horus's march on Terra. Whereas at the Cyclops cluster, Horus soldiers had benefited from the element of surprise, this would not be the case at Manachea or even Portmore, since numerous loyalist survivors, escapees from the massacre of Istvan, had already shared word of Horus's triumph. Worse, for the traitors, Portmore was already organising every force at its disposal to attack Horus's own war fleet. Fortunately for the traitors, a significant portion of their fleet was already involved in a lengthy and brutal battle with an Orc space hulk known as the Red Polyphemus. The Warmaster had also dispatched other squadrons to distant regions, and as they attempted to return home, Horus struck simultaneously at Manachea and Portmore. Historians have dubbed these turbulent times the Manichean War, as Horus had long-standing plans to weaken the Armada Imperialis battle groups at Portmore. The Warmaster had devised innumerable plans and betrayals to ensure that his axe would strike a weakened and confused enemy when it dropped. The treachery at Portmore would mark the climax of Horus's deceit, delivering almost the whole subsector into his clutches. Among the abattoir that had become Manachea's command amphitheatre, Lord Protector Primus Becket, the planetary governor, perished amid the remains of the Palace of Light. Defiant to his last breath, he stood before First Captain Ezekiel Abaddon of the Sons of Horus Traitor Legion, awaiting his demise 6 solar days after the destruction of his city. The valiant Lord Protector stood firm, offering the tall traitor Astartes only words of curses before the Sons of Horus's first captain's powerful claw carelessly knocked him down, smashing him like a normal man would swat aside a fly. The other Manachea hive cities quickly crumbled under the weight of Hive Ilium's terrible fate. Instead of the imperial Aquila, Manachea became the first really autonomous area over which the Eye of Horus hovered. However, neither Horus nor Mortarion, the austere Primarch of the Death Guard, ruled there. Talok Thorn, a line captain of the Sons of Horus, whom the arch-traitor had appointed to lead in his absence, came to control the Manachean Commonwealth. Claiming the title of Tyrant of Portmore, Talok Thorn vowed to safeguard Manchea's industries, robust workforce, and naval facilities at Portmore, all in service to the War Master. Talok Thorn, originally known as the Lash, established his seat of power in the blood-streaked corridors and halls of the Triumph of Reason, the former flagship of Battlefleet Portmore. The Horus overseers now harshly monitor Manachea, reducing the once massive and magnificent hive cities to mere large slave camps. Those who voluntarily sided with the traitors eventually became powerful leaders over their relatives, using iron hands and overt violence. The War Master granted Talok Thorn his own company and 6 cohorts of solar auxilia, recruited on the homeworld of Sons of Horus, but deemed unsuitable for Astartes' conversion, to maintain peace in his new domain. On more distant worlds, the power of Horus remained disputed, with some planets, such as Mazoa or Numenor, still fiercely opposing the invaders. Though the armies of the Imperial Knight household of House Earthen and Forge World Cyclothraith supported them, the troops of the Tyrant were too few to adequately guard such a large territory as the Cyclops Cluster, the Grail Abyss, and the Manachean Commonwealth taken together. Only in the Commonwealth was Talok Thorn's authority indisputable, but when the traitors' front advanced, the Coronid Deeps turned into another fighting zone. While the Mechanicum cohorts of the Mazoan Mechanicum and Agathian loyalists persistently harassed the domain and even dared to raid the worlds of the Commonwealth, loyalist splinter fleets and lone vessels of the loyalist legions remained a persistent threat. Though strong, Talok Thorn's authority was insufficient to push his will upon forces that appeared to be his allies. Archmagos Yelav Dracovac led the growth of the Cyclothrathine Holdfast domain with his own war of conquest in the Coronid Reach subsector, while the Raken Drior attacked and plundered conquered worlds in the Grail Abyss. And that's the end of the video. I hope you had fun taking a look at one of the most crucial moments in Imperial history. The Manachean system and its people forever endure. Their people, with a history of resilience and grit, will continue to fight on. They will never surrender and never yield. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Until next time, have a wonderful day.